underground, Lindsay. I mean, I see an announcement that you've put people in place. So then you spoke about the upcoming feasibility study that you guys are going to be proceeding with. Can you update us? What stage that is at, and then maybe let us know what the process would be going forward on that.
Well, look, we're very fortunate to have got a very experienced mining engineer with experience in various commodities, including tin, and more focused on underground. But Glenn Van Vleeman's got the great experience for this stage we're at here in getting the study done. So he's sitting there looking at obviously we've got up and running with the drilling on the feasibility drilling or metallurgical drilling we've been doing, and that's now completed, and we've got some, as you'd expect, some fantastic intersections of tin and tungsten, both in the main skarn or McDonald chute, high-grade McDonald chute, or Radford chute, which is the high-grade chute in the number 2 zone. So I think we had 21 metres at 1.2% tungsten. These are pretty good intersections, and that one's pretty close to true width as well because of the fact the access is a bit more challenging there on the number 2 skarn, But have him come on board. Obviously, we've got BHM processing consultants already there. We've got Jeff Barros back again, the manager of metallurgy for us originally on the original Mount Lindsay study, and he's the guy who got commissioned to work that gave us this breakthrough in terms of simplifying the flow sheet. That breakthrough test work we did right at the end after the BFS was done. We were trying to clean up the tin concentrate because we had this contaminant called tungsten in there, about 3% tungsten. So, and we came up with that great result where we actually managed to separate the two using electrostatic separation. So Jeff's back and he provides that connection between what was done historically. So we're not starting from scratch, we're leveraging off a heap of work we did. We processed 3 tonne of sample, and BHM will now be going around, a fresh pair of eyes, but a combination of fresh and experienced or old pair of eyes on the project, more specifically Mount Lindsay, will allow us to move forward, and so we're looking, we're pretty excited about the opportunities that may arise out of that. So having Jeff, so we're going to have this blend of experience and like I said, fresh eyes, and Glenn being experienced mining engineer. So we'll look at the mine design, the geotech, review that. Everything will be reviewed, but we've obviously got a great base of knowledge, having already spent something like $35-40 million on the project, but this time we've collected about 10 tonne of samples, so last time we had 3 tonne, so we'll have plenty of sample to do, not only the work we could do for the PFS, leading into hopefully putting that out later this year, is what our target is, and we'll probably inform the market when Glenn's managed to get all that schedule out, but that looks achievable at this stage. But we'll have enough sample to go into the BFS or DFS stage, which will be next year. So that, plus we've got a resource development geologist, she's come on board, so they've all we've just come from a site visit there, so obviously it's great having a look on the screen what these things look like, but getting on the ground and having a look at the core and the work that's been done on terrain and what challenges and opportunities that they may present. So we are on top of a hill, so the great thing is that gravity is of great assistance, and that's obviously a big way of sort of being more economic or getting your costs down in terms of underground mining. So yeah, look, it's we've been up and running on this, I suppose, since September, October last year with the drilling, but that's completed, and now we're back on the exploration, but now the technical work's happening. The engineers, the metallurgists are working on that, so you expect some news flow on that work as it comes to light.
Because you guys have done it was a BFS you've done before, wasn't it? But it was obviously a different concept, different timing, pricing, everything else. And going to the new feasibility studies, are there any sort of things that may have, a couple of things. Were there anything concerns from that study that now, because you're doing, you got more information, you're going underground, that now you're going, hey, we've learned, we know that's actually now positive, or are there any things that you could see here that could throw a spanner in the works for your, this study?
Yeah, look, well, for us, the big difference is obviously between open pit and underground. So I didn't think we'd saw, we had a fairly, conventional flow sheet last time, so it wasn't like we were sort of, and I suppose the new work we did, what we're doing now is we're following up essentially like a cited test on concentrate. So we don't know how that's going to translate into the bigger scale. There's always that, yes, okay, that technique work. Now we're going to put through much larger volumes of material and go through and see what's going to work, what's not going to work. So that's obviously, there's a risk component there. But having said that, we've got a conventional flow sheet to go back to if need be. So that's the backstop, if you like.
Yep. So
I suppose that could be a risk. The underground, we're doing a fully concentrated underground mine design. So we've had a look at scoping level type works, and looks all right first pass. Again, when you go and do things in more detail, do you come up with risks? The geotechnical side of things, we've identified, there's a big fault that runs through the zone and sort of puts a 40-metre displacement. So, Glenn looked at it. Oh, you've got 4 deposits. Said no, we've only got 2. It's just got a big fault through it, so it comes through and there's quite a good lateral displacement. Is there any water in that? These are the sort of risks you manage in an open pit versus an underground. There might be some challenges there, but I don't think there's anything there which is untoward. And having some experience like Glenn, and working with, having run his own consultancy firm previously, he understands the other side of the business as well. So he'll select someone which is competent, get the A team involved there, and try and come up with designs around this. And like I said, and look at the opportunities that may, and looking, Glenn's very much into innovation, so I'm pretty excited about what opportunities we're going to use there. But the reason we went underground was to try and minimise the footprint. So we've gone from 200 hectares down to 77 hectares, and then they'll go down to 33 hectares because we'll have some temporary rock storage facility for the waste rock and for the tailings, whilst we create those voids or holes underground. And then we use the paste fill plant to start putting that back down the hole. So, at the end of the day, you're only talking about, essentially when you rehabilitate everything, you'll just be left with a mill, and hopefully the exploration we're doing now has found something else, so we can go beyond that sort of 7-8 year mine life and come up with a new discovery. So that, that's why we're exploring now, because by the time you drill these things out, get all the permitting done, all the test work, etc., you need to be ready to have something to go into the mill, in 7 or 8 years down the track, sort of. Look, I don't see anything, untoward. It's essentially the test work. Hopefully it yields a flow sheet, which is what Jeff saw from the results of that work, which he said was a game changer back in